There was a time when cars felt less like machines and more like members of the family. You gave them names, polished their chrome, and trusted them with your life on the open road. But behind all that style and shine, some of the safety ideas that came with those cars were, well, let's just say they didn't always make sense. Some looked clever, others felt comforting, but most of them wouldn't stand a chance today. So let's take a ride back in time and look at 10 car safety features from the past that were questionable at best.
When seatbelts first appeared in the 1950s, they were just a strap across your lap. For families, it felt reassuring. Better than nothing, right? The problem was, in a bad crash, that single belt could do more harm than good, putting all the force on your stomach and spine. Automakers proudly called it a safety feature, but in truth, it was only half the solution. It took the invention of the three-point belt to finally make buckling up truly safe. In the early 60s, Ford had a curious idea, a steering wheel that swung to the side when you parked. The thought was, why squeeze past the wheel when you could just step out gracefully? On paper, it sounded brilliant, almost space-age, but in practice, the complicated mechanism often jammed and drivers didn't trust it. By the 70s, the dream of the swing-away wheel quietly disappeared. Back in the 1930s, some cars had windshields designed to pop right out during an accident. The thinking was, better the glass gives way than passengers smashing into it. But in reality, it sometimes meant people were thrown straight out of the car. As glass technology improved, this feature became one of those ideas best left in the past. If you ever owned a car from the late 80s or early 90s, you might remember this odd one. The seatbelt wasn't attached to the seat, it was attached to the door. Close the door, and the belt swung across your lap, almost like it was helping you out. It looked clever, but in a crash where the door flew open, that belt didn't offer much protection. Once airbags became common, door-mounted seatbelts faded into memory.
By the 1950s, safety groups were raising alarms about those rock-hard dashboards made of steel, so car makers came up with the padded dashboard. It was sold as the next big thing in safety. Soft vinyl cushions that looked inviting. And yes, they felt better than bare metal, but in a real accident, that padding barely made a difference. It was more comfort than protection.
In 1974, the government tried something bold. Cars that wouldn't start unless your seatbelt was buckled. Automakers rushed to install the systems, but drivers weren't happy. Imagine trying to inch your car out of the garage or move it in the driveway and the engine refused to turn over. The complaints came fast, and within a year, the rule was gone. It's remembered today as one of the most unpopular safety experiments of all time. Some of us still remember this one. You'd shut the door and a motorized belt would slide across your chest automatically, whether you liked it or not. It was supposed to increase safety without asking drivers to lift a finger. But the belts broke down often, pinched clothing, and left people tangled. By the 1990s, everyone was ready to say goodbye to this helpful feature. Today, we know child car seats are lifesavers. But back in the 1950s, they weren't about safety at all. They were more like booster chairs that simply let kids see out the window. Parents loved how cute they looked, but in a crash, those early seats offered almost no protection. It took decades of testing and advocacy to turn them into the real safety devices we trust today. Step into a car from the 40s and you'd see it right away. A dashboard made of gleaming solid steel. It looked strong, it felt modern, but in an accident, it was unforgiving. Even a minor collision could send the driver straight into a surface that wouldn't budge. By comparison, the padded dashboards that followed were a big step forward, even if they weren't perfect. Few features said cool car like pop-up headlights. In the 70s and 80s, they were the mark of style. But those headlights often came with sharp edges and hard corners, making them risky for pedestrians. Add in the mechanical failures, they loved to get stuck halfway, and eventually the shine wore off. By the early 2000s, the era of pop-up headlights had faded into the rearview mirror. Looking back, these old safety features remind us of a time when cars were still fighting their balance between beauty and protection. Some of these ideas were stepping stones toward real progress, while others were simply experiments that didn't work out. They make us smile now, but they also show just how far we've come. If you enjoyed this little ride through the past, go ahead and give this video a like. Share your favorite memory in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. After all, history isn't just in books, it's on the roads we once traveled.